Hi, welcome to Love Muscles Live. Today, we're going to explore empathy and how we can exercise that. I know a lot of people, when I talk to them about having more empathy with their partner or their kids, they say, "Well, I've just never been able to do that." Well, the first time may be a little rough, but it is a practice, it's a skill, it is a choice. So the more you practice empathy, the better you will become at it. Um, and really, we have so many chances every day. I mean, if we look at the faces of the people we see, whether that's our partner, our spouse, our kids, our family members, or even strangers at the grocery store, people, zombies at the steering wheel, you can have empathy. You might not get credit for it all the time, but you will make a difference in people's lives. One of the things I used to do, I don't know if this is true for you, but I used to um, try to resonate with whatever the challenge was that this person was having, whether it be a spouse or a family member, a friend. I'd try to pick a resonating point. Maybe something similar happened to me, and I'd try to fix their problem. And I've learned that empathy is not fixing the problem. It's just being there. It's listening. It's being patient. It's saying, I'm here without saying, I'm here. It's just being there, being present, which is, by the way, next week's love muscle. But it's being present and listening, caring, and almost feeling what they feel without trying to fix it. And almost say, that must be tough. How are you handling that? What can I do? How can I be to support you? And just really be there and walk, maybe not in their shoes, but right beside them in the path. Maybe not literal, but figuratively, and let them know that you're there for them. That's empathy. It's understanding a little bit about what they're going through. You won't be able to understand it exactly because you have different experiences, different pasts. But empathy is where you put yourself aside for whatever time you need to and be with them for them. It's holding a space for them in your life without holding the weight, the burden that they have to carry. It's trying to understand and let them know that they're not alone. You know, some a wise friend of mine just recently reminded me, and I've had medical practitioners talk to me about how they would ask questions and just listen. And oftentimes, the person they would be asking this question would answer themselves and almost diagnose their own problem and solution in the conversation. So I think it's important to ask questions, open-ended questions, and just stop and listen. I think that's very important. Um, so today I am coming to you from Lincoln, Nebraska. Oh, I was going to post a banner up there, but I forgot how. Let's see. I'm going to do it right now. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not from Lincoln, Nebraska. I was driving through. I knocked on a couple of doors, and this house was vacant, so I'm in it. No, I'm house sitting for a friend in Lincoln, Nebraska, with their two wonderful dogs, and the spirit is great in here. Let me know where you're from in the chat, whether you're live or if you're on Facebook or you're watching the replay. Let us know in the comments of where you're from, just out of curiosity. So today marks the 1 week pre-anniversary. I just made that word up. It's the anniversary, the first. So next week we're starting a new format. It's called Problem Solvers. It's going to be Fridays, just like this, but at 1 p.m. Central instead of 10 a.m. Central. Basically, what we're going to do is through the people I work with and the research I've been doing, we're going to take that week's love muscle and, sorry, there was a fly. That week's love muscle, answer a question that's pretty popular. It was a fruit fly, a gnat. Um, and we're going to, sorry, I got sidetracked. We're going to answer a question about what's going on in a relationship, possibly. Maybe a question I've heard or a question I found. And we're going to have a scenario on that love muscle. And it's going to be a live thing. So if you have similar situations, we're going to be able to do that. So, for instance, with empathy, I think we already talked about fixing or problem solving. I know a lot of people when they talk to their spouse, whether it be man or women, men are seem to have a stronger reputation with trying to be the problem solver or fixer. But I've known and experienced a lot of females also are very adept at fixing problems and solving problems, and they exercise that muscle a little bit too much sometimes. So empathy is not fixing or problem solving. It's not um, agreements with, oh, I agree with that, but here's maybe what you should do. The but kind of leads to an opinion that really is a disagreement. No mind reading, no pity or sympathy, things like that. So, one of the practices that you can do with empathy is practice curious questioning. In other words, what must have that experience been like for you? That must have been hard. How did you get through it? And show an interest. And once you ask those types of questions, people are more likely to be thankful they found someone who really, truly cares about the situation they're going through, enough to ask such questions. And then um, they end up kind of solving their own problems sometimes. They talk things through. Basically, it's like listening is you throwing batting practice and the hitter taking their cuts. Well, by asking a question, you're lobbing up a pitch. And then your talking partner, your conversational partner, whether it be a kid or a coworker, um, one of your kids, even your pets. So your pets aren't going to really expand too much um, in the English language, anyway. Um, and when you're asking this, you're able to look at their body language, and maybe that'll clue you in on what type of questions to ask. I can tell this frustrates you. I can tell just by watching you talking about it. This is hard. How are you going to handle this? What can we do? What can I do? This is important for your empathy muscle to get stronger and stronger. Also, don't make any judgments. For every time you can judge somebody on something they've done or are doing, there's probably something that they can judge on you too. Maybe something very similar. So suspend your judgment, suspend your pity, and just be there not for you, but for them. Don't try to prove anything except your love and your empathy. Um, Slow down, be patient. Empathy takes a lot of patience, a lot of patience. You almost have to keep deciding to be patient while you're being patient. You can say, okay, I've decided in my own head to be patient for this person and really listen to them. And then about 18 minutes later, you're going to have to redecide to continue being patient or not. But patience in empathy is a redecision over and over and over again. So, you know what you might do to strengthen your empathy if this is important to you, and it should be, especially with your spouses and with your children, is develop an empathy journal. You know, it's people, maybe you're a leader at work, whether it be based on a position or based on who you are. Your coworkers might come to you and talk to you about things. Journal that conversation at the end of the day and say, here's what I heard. Here's how I could have been better. And let that be, even if it's just a couple of lines each day. You don't need to write for an hour and a half. I'm not trying to give you a part time job. But if you can gain some insight on how to practice your empathy and be better, I'm telling you, empathy is one of the most versatile and strongest love muscles you can have. I say that every week. But really, if you can be a great conversationalist in your patient listening and proving your empathy, you're going to be a strong, loving friend or family member just by slowing down. So, and just by journaling and all this stuff. So remember, empathy is a practice. It's not that you arrive. It's not, I'm empathic or I'm empathetic. It's something that you have to practice daily because every situation is going to be different. The people you listen to, the people you meet, the problems are going to be different. The personalities are going to be different. Therefore, it's something that's unique each time you practice it. But the more you practice it, the better you become, um, the more practiced you are, the stronger your empathy muscle is. So let me see, what else do I want to talk to you about? I have all sorts of research material here. I'm a little bit more equipped than the last couple of weeks I've been traveling, and it's been great. But because of all the driving I've been doing, I haven't been as ready research wise. But that's okay. I wanted to stay consistent. And then next week, we're going to get even better. Um, so, if we are to understand empathy, I think understanding is a key word within the practice of empathy. Because not only is our understanding of what empathy is important, but it's that we understand others and their emotions and perspectives, um, especially our children. You know, if they come home and listen, or if they come home wanting us to hear them out, especially the younger ones, because they don't know the language like we do. So we really need to set stuff aside and pay attention to them. And when you're doing that, not only are you showing them the practice of listening and patience and loving, but you're showing them by example the practice of empathy. And then as they grow, they've seen you practice empathy and they can recall that and they will know how important it was for them, even if you didn't solve anything. And really, it's probably a good idea if you just be there for them, let them solve it, help them solve it, but don't give them the answer all the time. Because at some point, they're going to have to solve their own. Right now, you get to show empathy by example with your kids. So, experiencing somebody else's feelings as if their own. So, going through my research, I can give you a whole bunch of science stuff, but I won't. The thing is, remember active listening, or what I call full face listening. You use your eyebrows. You might use a vocal ooh, things like that. You might use your hands, curl your lips. There's a lot of ways to use your whole being. Keep an open body posture. Don't sit with your arms crossed because that shows closeness. Um, I heard something the other day I thought was remarkable. Get the distance between your earlobe and your shoulder far as apart as you can, and naturally. So, in other words, your earlobe and your shoulder, when we're closed minded, you look at somebody really shy, or especially the young kids, when they come up, their earlobes and their shoulders are practically touching each other, right? Or if we're like this, our earlobes are almost touching our shoulder. So we want to separate the earlobes and the shoulder to show an open body, an open posture, which means you're open minded. You're in a receiving mode, right? So stay mindful, stay present, ask questions that are curious, and that's good for that. I had something else here I wanted to, some quips. Empathy creates safety. When you respond with patient, loving understanding, empathy, you're creating a safe space for people to land. You're creating a safe space where others feel they can be real, if not raw, and honest without fearing judgment or pity or misunderstanding. If you can provide that safe space for people to come and talk, people are going to come and talk. And that's very important for your family, for your children, and for your partners, is to always create the safe space. Okay? We can either, one thing I talked about in a recent article I wrote is you can feel with them or fix them. Feel with them or fix them. If you feel with them, you're going to deepen your connection. If you fix them, you're basically going to try to control them. It's going to separate your relationship. It's not going to be as close. It's not going to be as connected. So empathy really is a connective tissue in your relationships. That's the biggest reason I can say you must get better at empathy with the people you love. And you can even practice it on people you don't know. Take a couple of minutes, listen, be there for them. It's sort of like saying, hey, I understand you're going through something. I want to walk with you. I want to feel what you feel. Explain it to me so that I might be able to know what you're going through. And I think that's important with empathy. Empathy is an important love muscle. And if you want to learn more about love muscles, I want to show you a graphic that I did. So this is the graphic of love muscles. And let's see, where's empathy on there? Empathy should be character. No, it's connection builders. That makes sense. Right here in the bottom, we've been doing a lot of connection builders lately. These muscles help us form and connect and strengthen the bonds we have. And this is a muscle group that I think is initially important, and that's why it's the first one we talk about in our Build Better Love Muscles course, which is now available. We are also going to be launching many courses, mini courses, and empathy will have its own. But if you want all of them at once, Build Better Love Muscles, you can learn more about it at learn.buildbetterlovemuscles.com. There are text-based learning, video-based learning, presentations, journal prompts, handouts, worksheets, and you can get those now at learn.buildbetterlovemuscles.com to find out the cost, the pricing, and the features and all like that. So again, that's empathy. Next week, we're going to have another connection builder, presence. That's going to be next week's love muscle. And again, next week's live is going to be a little bit about what we're doing right now, learning more about the love muscle, but also posing a problem and argument. Sort of like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? I don't know. Sort of like a hypothetical couples therapy. And one of the things that I'm starting to do is offer my services as a relationships coach. And that's going to be for $97 per hour. And I'll put the sign up and things like that. We can have a discovery meeting. But more on that next week. Between now and next week, everybody's got birthdays, it seems, coming up. So happy birthday to you if this is your birthday. Mine is tomorrow, so happy birthday to me. And thank you very much for saying so. And I'm glad that you visited, whether you're visiting live or watching the replay. I am so thankful that you came out to watch this piece on empathy. If you have a Medium, go to medium.com and search for Mike Sansoni or Reaching Hearts. And this week I've been writing on empathy. If you're on Substack, same thing. Next week we'll be writing on presence. And I think, where am I next week? Atlanta? No, I think I'm in Omaha next week. So I just drive around and love on people. So thank you for letting me love on you today. And we'll hope to see you in the next show at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time is when those are going to be. I love you. And we'll see you next time.